My dad and I share an insane joy of running. The best advice he ever gave me had to do with the hardest runs. He said, when a run feels the most challenging, I am probably making the most progress. After an especially difficult run, notice how much stronger you feel on the next run. Your discomfort is gone, your speed is back, and you're ready to take on whatever the road offers you. Working with Defiant students can be a difficult run. Not every day is hard, but some days can be incredibly rough. I struggle to remain consistent, calm, and confident when a student escalates that defiant behavior and tests me in front of the class. By the end of the day, I feel worn out and discouraged. But the following days, they run smoother somehow. Maybe the student has realized that I will follow through, or perhaps I carry myself with greater confidence, having made it through that struggle. In a strange way, my hardest students become my favorites. Perhaps not at the moments when they're pushing back, but over time, I have realized that my most challenging students have made me a stronger and more effective teacher. A few years ago, I had that student, one who tested me and made me better. Fifth graders, generally excited to start school, they walk in on the first day wide-eyed and ready to learn something new. But this young lady, who I will call Stephanie, walked into my room on the first day carrying some very heavy baggage and a serious attitude problem. Stephanie seemed determined to shock her 10-year-old classmates with her sense of fashion, her love of alternative music, and often her choice of language. Stephanie struggled to work cooperatively in partners or in small groups, and it was obvious that she had had some very disappointing relationships with both adults and kids in her life. And Stephanie was especially resistant to believe in this idea that I wanted her to succeed. We made it through a pretty tough year. By mid-year, I remember thinking she's making progress. Although I felt like I was handing her consequences like they were Skittles at times. By the spring, however, Stephanie had a softness to her. She had a happy look in her eyes and a confidence that I had not seen in the fall. Still, I was surprised on the last day of school when Stephanie comes bouncing into my room and she says to me, "Mrs. Riddle, my mom said I don't have to come to school today because you're done with report cards, but I told her I wanted to come to school because you like me." Because I like her? The kids usually tell me how much they like me, but this young lady came on the last day because she knew that I liked her. There are dozens of theories and books that are written about working with students who have defiant behavior. Now, while I appreciate many of their methods, I am convinced that in the end, it is more about the efforts that we make to build trust with a student, even when it is hard. Every day, I showed Stephanie that I accepted her, while at the same time expressing that she must follow the expectations of our class. My dad might say that Stephanie and I made it through that marathon by focusing on those hard, short runs. Over the years, I've collected a few tips about working on those runs. I'd like to share them with you. First, be consistent. Students who are emotionally fragile desperately want the teacher to be the one in the room that responds consistently, not just to him or her, but to every student in that room. Second, give space to students who are emotionally escalated. Teachers are a strange breed. We really want to solve problems quickly in the limited amount of time that we have with our kids. But when an adult tries to force an escalated child to comply, the situation usually worsens. Allowing that student time to breathe and calm down will ultimately result in greater gains. Third, model respect. While a punitive consequence may seem like a logical move to most educators, it often sends the message that those with the most power can have their way. Harsh punishments rarely expose the causes of misbehavior, nor do they automatically help lead kids to making better choices. By speaking to a student in a low, respectful tone, we can help them maintain dignity in front of their classmates. We can begin to build that trusting relationship, and hopefully we can get them to reflect on the choices that they've made. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, express your hope for the child. Deep down, every teacher wants each student to be successful, both academically and socially, and expressing that hope to both the student and his or her parents kind of brings everybody in on the same team and allows for a smoother baton pass during those more difficult runs. Students with emotional and behavioral challenges desperately want teachers to be the adults in their lives that help them make it to the next mile marker. Let's do this by reflecting on our hardest runs and building that stamina needed to help these kids make it on that path. Let's show them with our behaviors, I like you. I believe in your abilities. And I am so glad that you came to school today. Thank you.